Today on the Deep Dive, we're really venturing into the world of Peter North.
Mm,
Now, for anyone who might not immediately place the name, he became, well, a pretty monumental figure in the adult film industry.
absolutely huge. Yeah. A legend, really.
Exactly. And we've pulled together a fascinating mix of sources. We've got bits from his own book, Penetrating Insights.
Which is kind of a self-help guide, interestingly enough.
Right. Then there are bios from IMDb, Wikisex Guide, a pretty candid interview from Lucas Back,
Mhm.
a YouTube transcript from TT Boy TV.
That one's quite revealing.
Yeah, definitely. Plus his Pantheon bio, and then some articles from briefly.co.za and Porn Legend News that get into his more personal life.
So a real mix, professional, personal, his own words reporting.
Totally. So our mission for you, the learner, is basically to go beyond just the surface, right? Pull out the key stuff about his career, which was long and pretty impactful.
Yeah.
His views on things like success and relationships, which are surprisingly detailed,
Yeah.
and, some of the more unexpected parts of his whole journey.
Yeah, what's really striking right off the bat is just the sheer variety we have here. We're not just looking at, like, his film stats.
No, not at all.
We've got his own advice, his thoughts in interviews, and then this reporting on his personal life. It gives us a chance to build, well, a much more rounded picture, I think.
I agree. So let's start at the beginning. Alden Joseph Brown, that was his birth name.
Right.
Born in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada, January 11th, 1957.
Canadian start, yeah.
Classic Canadian start. Then, 1982, he makes the move to California, eventually lands in Newport Coast.
Okay.
And here's where it gets, really interesting. According to that Wikisex Guide bio, how he got into the adult industry was pretty serendipitous.
Oh, yeah. How so?
He was modeling athletic wear at a private party in L.A., early 80s. Someone in the adult biz saw his physique, was impressed, and boom.
Wow. Just like that.
Yeah,
Talk about right place, right time.
Seriously. And you have to think about the industry back then. Like his IMDb bio notes, it was a totally different scene.
Mm-hmm. Movies had plots sometimes, dialogue.
They were made for actual theaters.
Yeah. And he's described as still working even as late as, what, 2011? Kind of a holdover from those good old days, maybe?
Definitely a link to that era.
Yeah.
And he certainly made his mark. IMDb lists just tons of huge stars he worked with.
Like who?
Oh, Trinity Loren, Jill Kelly, Christy Canyon, even a very young Tracy Lords.
Right. That name comes up again later, doesn't it, in a different context.
It does, yeah. But what's clear is he had this lasting appeal, like across generations of fans. He wasn't just a flash in the pan.
That kind of staying power, it suggests something more than just, the physical aspect. Maybe a certain professionalism. Or a persona that just worked, even as the industry changed around him.
Okay, now for something pretty surprising, Peter North, the adult film star, wrote a self-help book.
Right. Penetrating insights.
Exactly. And you might think you know what's in it, but it gets into stuff like overcoming feelings of inferiority.
Really?
Yeah, he argues that inner qualities matter more than just looks. He even gives examples of successful people who weren't, conventionally great looking.
Huh. That's quite a contrast, isn't it? His whole fame is built on his physical presence, yet he's arguing for, inner strength.
It makes you think, doesn't it?
Oh.
About how we define success and what really goes into it.
Definitely different facets.
He gets practical, too. Tells you to really define what you're looking for in a woman so you know where to even start looking.
It makes sense. Target your search.
And this made me chuckle. He talks about rejection being normal. Part of the game. Even for him, joking he'd only faced it once or so.
Uh-huh. A little bit of humor there. Keeps it relatable, maybe?
I think so. It suggests he doesn't take himself too seriously, even giving advice. But he really hammers home the importance of dreams, goals, self-confidence. He uses Arnold Schwarzenegger as an example.
Oh, interesting comparison. Why Arnold?
For achieving huge success through, meticulous planning and discipline. He says you need specific goals for everything, including attracting women. It's very direct.
Applying business principles to relationships, almost. Taking control.
Exactly. And then he goes deep on physical fitness. Shares his own story going from thin, scrawny to hitting the gym, partly to meet women.
Okay, so he connects fitness directly to that goal.
Yeah, and lists the benefits. Endurance, living longer, feeling better. And it's not just a passing comment. The dietary advice is super specific.
Like what?
Tons of fresh fruits, veggies. Go easy on the whites. Sugar, salt, bleached flour. Focus on protein poultry, fish. Carbs like pasta, rice.
Wow, that's detailed.
He even gives protein shake recipes. Talk supplements. Sleep needs 7-8 hours. And get this, recommends spring water over tap water.
Seriously, spring water, that's specific.
Right. It suggests he really bought into this link between physical discipline and success in, well, everything.
The level of detail is definitely unexpected. Shows a real commitment to that idea.
He even includes a sample, diet for bodybuilders, meal timings, everything, and advice on weight training. Start slow, be patient, set gym goals, maybe talk to pros.
It's a whole system.
A very comprehensive plan for physical self-improvement reinforces that idea of effort, strategy, commitment.
Like bodybuilding for your whole life almost.
Applying that discipline everywhere.
But it's not all physical. He stresses how crucial a sense of humor is for attracting women.
Okay, that's more standard advice, maybe.
Yeah, but he gives examples. Guys who weren't lookers but used wit. He even gives tips on how to develop your humor imitations, tasteful jokes. Key is funny, not crude.
Right. Personality shining through. It's often more appealing than just looks anyway.
He also pushes for honest self-assessment. Like, really look at yourself. Hair, face, the whole package.
Critically.
Yeah. Make lists. Good features, not so good. Where can you improve? Talks hairstyles, look at successful guys, magazines, TV, ask people what they think.
So very methodical again.
Totally. And the face acknowledges its key initially. Talk skin types, skincare. Taking action on tangible things to boost confidence makes sense.
Then social stuff. Conversation starters, having conversation pieces, things you wear or have that spark interest.
Little tricks to get talking.
Then health tips, some expected. Condoms, regular checkups, STD tests. He mentions getting tested for AIDS twice a month, which is intense.
Twice a month. Given his line of work, maybe understandable, but still.
And some less common advice, like trying to urinate after sex.
Okay, preventative health focus there. Responsible advice on the STDs and condoms, though.
Definitely. And finally, the lovemaking tips. Importance of foreplay, finding her spot, being adventurous, keeping excitement alive long term.
Standard relationship advice, maybe?
Kinda, yeah. Plus, tips on approaching women aim high, he says. Ask the most beautiful woman first. Get to nightclubs early. It's a whole package.
A very detailed guide, really. It covers a lot of ground, all from his unique perspective.
Right.
Yeah.
Now let's switch gears. That YouTube interview transcript, TT Boy TV. This gets so much more personal. He jokes about often being late to sets, sometimes hours late.
Huh. Okay, relatable maybe.
Then talks upbringing, middle class, Nova Scotia, working mom, involved in his sports. Dad was an alcoholic. Not a strong connection there.
That parental contrast probably shaped him quite a bit. Mother sounds like a key influence.
He thinks so too. Says he got physical traits from her: dark hair, thin skin, vascularity. And here's a surprise. Claims he was a virgin until 18.
No kidding. Peter North.
Yep. Says he made up for lost ground after that, though. Also mentions his mom's influence meant church, Sunday school, even while he was partying.
Interesting mix. Religious background, then the later career. Paints a more complex picture.
He was into science, too, especially biology, and calls himself a gearhead, loved mechanics, cars, owned a 340 CDA.
A muscle car guy.
Totally. Appreciated high-performance cars. Also remembers working tough jobs, young bakery, unloading ships, manual labor.
Grounded him, maybe. That work ethic probably came from somewhere. Shows his path wasn't just straight to fame.
He calls Newport Coast somewhat pretentious. But interestingly, says he tried to welcome newcomers in the adult business, which wasn't always the vibe.
That's actually quite nice. Shows a bit of generosity there.
Reminisces about fixing up his Barracuda. Admits he wasn't super confident or a good-looking guy in high school. Had secret admirers, though.
So, a more relatable past than you might expect. Less bravado.
Right. Worked as an extra before his big break. Never saw himself as an actor, really. Then there are some, well, colorful stories. One about ejaculating over the ocean as a teen.
Okay. TMI, maybe?
Huh, maybe a bit.
Yeah.
And being nervous asking a girl over for homework in 7th grade. Recalls being surprised by the volume of his first ejaculation.
Right. These little anecdotes, they kind of humanize him, I guess. Show his early curiosity, too.
His move to California in '82 seems almost on a whim. Curiosity. Never seen a palm tree, never flown before.
Just went for it.
Landed in Huntington Beach. First job at a health club. Get this, he made up Social Security numbers.
Seriously? Wow.
Worked his way up to management. Noticed way more beautiful women in Cali than back home. Figured it was migration. Had a video store in Tampa for a bit, too.
You're sourceful guy?
He admits he didn't keep count of partners, but remembers a friend who did. Claims he had a black book with 150 names by age 21. Credits personality and stamina.
Okay, so maybe some early confidence building there in his personal life.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
Says he got in the business via photo shoots, a gym connection, first scene, 3 women, another guy. And apparently, his performance was so remarkable.
The famous ejaculation.
Yes, it got reported straight to Jim South, a big-name director.
Wow. Made an immediate impression then.
He claims he wasn't nervous, though. Relaxed vibe on set. Remembers a scene with Janet Jameson, being consistent right away, reliable. Admits being a little vain about how he looked on camera. Recalls a movie with Christy Canyon, basically about his hair.
About his hair. Okay. That first scene story, though, really underscores his initial impact.
He thinks back then, women in the biz maybe liked guys who weren't the seedy stereotype. His all-American look might have helped.
Interesting perspective on the industry perceptions at the time.
Remembers shooting on actual film. Felt more vintage. Recalls 911 he was meant to fly to Montreal that day for his production company, North Pole Productions.
Right. Grounds him in that shared moment.
The story of his stage name, Peter North, is interesting too. Met John Leslie after movie number 2. Name came from the Go West idea. Tombstone, Arizona. Wyatt Earp reference.
Huh. A bit of showbiz lore there.
Wasn't sure he'd stay in the business at first, but found it easy because he was confident physically. Tells a story about another guy trying to copy his signature pop shot.
Huh. Imitation is the sincerest form, I guess.
Shares good memories of working with Kenny Evans. Says his popularity actually helped raise pay rates for male performers.
So he had some industry clout.
Seems so. Mentions wild stories, including one with Tracy Lords and Tom Byron during a scene. Says lots of actresses liked working with him, requested him. Describes his style as energetic.
Okay.
Gives props to other performers, like Tom Byron, Mark Wallace. Remembers Kira Keener getting early breast implants, like director Michael Carpenter, also John Stagliano.
So he has his favorites.
Estimates doing around 1,900 scenes. Says his pro career was about 11 years. And here's another curveball: he collected historical artifacts, WDWII, Third Reich stuff.
Wow, okay. That's unexpected. Adds another layer entirely.
Yeah. Notes how some Californians didn't know much geography, confused his East Coast Canadian roots with Toronto or Montreal. Filmed in Kauai, called it more private.
Little observations about life.
Mentions he didn't mind doing golden showers, urination scenes, if asked. Recalls Byron and Wallace liking weed before scenes, says he rarely used it. Retired from performing July 2013.
Okay, so some more specific industry details and personal preferences there.
He thinks performers today, with things like Viagra readily available, maybe don't get how tough it was back then.
Interesting point. The performance pressures must have been different.
Feels the business lost its mystique. More like an assembly line now, less love on set. Remembers long hours, location shoots, reflects on huge changes over his 30-plus years, sees himself as a big part of that history.
Well, he certainly was a major figure for a long time.
His favorite time, the mysterious 80s, late 80s, early 90s especially, tells a story about fans bowing to him in a club.
Wow, that's intense fandom.
Recalls working less sometimes when he was in relationships. Balancing personal life and the job was tough.
Understandable in that industry, I imagine.
Then he totally shifts gears again. Starts talking MMA. Compares his physique to fighters, like striking and jiu-jitsu. Has opinions on fighters.
Really? Like who?
Admires George St. Pierre, Tony Ferguson, John Jones. Says Khabib Nurmagomedov is skilled, obviously, but not his favorite. Lacks star quality, he thinks.
Huh. Specific opinion.
Liked watching Anthony Pettis, Conor McGregor back in the day. Talks endurance of the Diaz brothers, Frankie Edgar. Compares Khabib's grappling to being smothered.
He really follows it.
Considers Israel Adesanya, Alexander Volkanovski great. Admires boxers too. Floyd Mayweather for defense. Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard. Even shares current actress crushes. Kate Beckinsale, Salma Hayek, Charlize Theron.
It's fascinating, these other passions. Combat sports, actresses. Shows a whole other side, right? Detailed knowledge, too.
Definitely. But now we have to get into the really serious, troubling stuff from those briefly.co.za and porn legend news articles.
Right. This is where the narrative takes a very dark turn.
Yeah. These sources detail extremely serious allegations from his wife, Nadia North, about an abusive marriage. They report Peter North Alden Joseph Brown was arrested twice in 2019, assaulting her.
Released on bail, restraining order followed.
So really stark contrast to the public image, the self-help stuff we talked about. Shows how that persona can hide, well, something very different.
Absolutely. A potentially very different reality.
Nadia apparently hid her phone to record him, got audio. Him rapping Jingle Bell Rock, then apologizing for upsetting her. The quote is, especially physically or emotionally scar you, or almost kill you.
That's chilling. The mix of the song and that apology is deeply unsettling.
Extremely. Nadia also alleges he bragged about working with an underage Tracy Lords. We noted he worked with her, but this allegation adds a really disturbing layer.
Yeah, context changes everything there.
It seems their relationship initially involved her trying to help him rebrand, suggesting different content, better social media. But she claims she got emergency protective order back in March 2017 after an assault.
So despite maybe starting with rebranding efforts, it devolved into these really serious accusations.
She describes a horrible incident, 2018 AVN Awards. Allegedly locked her out of their hotel room. She ended up sleeping in a casino bathroom, no money.
That's awful.
Claims he often hit her from behind. Details severe injuries, broken ribs, broken scapula, cracked vertebrae, multiple concussions, whiplash. Says she needs seizure medication now because of it.
These are incredibly serious physical abuse allegations. Just terrible.
After his 2019 arrests and bail, she alleges he drained their bank accounts. She also describes contacting him about mold in the house, despite a restraining order, which led to another encounter. It just paints a dramatically different, very dark picture.
It really does. These allegations, if true, describe a pattern of profoundly disturbing, harmful behavior. It's a stark reminder, isn't it? Fame, success, they don't guarantee personal integrity.
Not at all.
And it highlights how crucial it is to take allegations like these extremely seriously.
Absolutely. So, wrapping up this deep dive, we've definitely hit some unexpected territory with Peter North. From starting out in that older era of adult films to the surprising self-help book Confidence, Diet. Warham has his own thoughts on how the industry changed.
And then these deeply troubling personal controversies coming out later.
Yeah. It's quite a trajectory.
So considering that whole journey, right, from the sort of accidental discovery, the long career, the influence, and then these very serious personal issues, it leaves you with a pretty big question, doesn't it?
What's it?
Well, what does this whole story really tell us about, the complexities of fame, of identity, especially within the adult entertainment world? Is that public face, the persona, ever really the whole story of the person behind it? It's certainly something to think about.